Every now and then I scroll through YouTube shorts and come across a random Reddit story about some guy who violently backshots his sister in the shower and brutally diddles his pet dog. And usually I would just scroll past these, however I can't help but notice that most of these videos end up getting millions of views. And so today I wanted to create my own sus Reddit stories from scratch to see how easy they are to make. But to make this a little bit more interesting, I'm gonna do a challenge where I have 3 different wheels to spin and I have to somehow make up a sus Reddit story based on these keywords. So let's just see what our first sus Reddit story is going to be based on. Okay, fairies, priest, and gem. This is a very interesting combination of words. Let me just think of something real quick. Just give me like 5 seconds. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking, just a random thought. What if the story is that the narrator goes to the gym one day just to do his usual workout, minding his own business, when he's just busting to go to the toilet, and so he goes into the disabled toilet since the men's toilet is like, you know, fully used and everything. But when he opens the door, he finds the local priest cracking 3 furries in the bathroom violently and brutally. Let's just write something about that. Let me just try and like consolidate my thoughts. Okay, so here's what I'm sort of thinking with the scripts. But now we got to turn this text into speech, and today we're going to be using Fish Audio, which has a lot of cool features. But basically, I was testing this out earlier, and I learned that you can use tags like this in order to directly change the way certain words or phrases are said, so that the AI sounds more human and expressive rather than just a monotoned robot. For example,
Daddy, chill. Oh no, Daddy, it's coming out. Skibbity Sigma Ohio Grimace Shake.
I have a massive poo-poo stuck up my bum-bum, and I want somebody to remove it with their toenails.
But also another feature that was pretty cool was Story Studio, and so this is a default project file, but basically it allows you to sort of edit and change the cadence and the rhythm of speech before you even download the narration. And you can also regenerate certain blocks of text just in case some of them are like not as good. And so basically this saves you from having to go back and forth and regenerate everything from scratch, even if it's just one tiny little section that needs adjustments. And also these are the edits that you would be doing anyways in your editing software, and so I guess this just makes it one step easier. And so let's create a new project for our first sus Reddit story. What are we going to call this? What is this even called? Furry Priest Gem. For the voices, you can actually choose a bunch of different user-created voices over here, but for copyright purposes, I think we're going to stick to the default voices. Let's have a listen to some of these.
Welcome to this peaceful moment of self-reflection.
Okay, this actually could be it. A meditative, calm female voice. I feel like this could work well. It sort of juxtaposes the absurdity of our script. Why don't we just go with this one for this first one? And now I'm just going to paste it into here. And in terms of tags, I guess I could add some tags, but maybe for this one, I'll just add some minimal ones. So there's a few different ones here, but also you can actually type your own custom sort of like behaviors into the tags. Like we're not limited to any of these. Why don't we just put excited into all of these? I think if I press play, it'll automatically generate. Or actually, I think it already did generate over here.
I caught my local priest cracking 3 furries in the disabled bathroom, but instead of reporting it, I joined in.
Okay, very interesting delivery. And now we can just download this audio and chuck it into an editor. Okay, now give me like 2 seconds to actually turn it into an actual Reddit story. Okay, the Reddit story is ready. It's very simple. I just used auto captions. I just put a little bit of music underneath it. And then I just put like a little simple PNG at the start. But let's just have a look at it.
I caught my local priest cracking 3 furries in the disabled bathroom, but instead of reporting it, I joined in. I was at my usual gym doing my usual routine when suddenly I felt the sudden urge to release a stage 4 explosive diarrhea. My stomach was absolutely cooked from the expired milk I accidentally drank this morning. I was in the middle of doing squats, and I knew that if I continued for 3 more seconds, it would be GG, and there would be a hole in the ground from the cannon about to shoot out of my ass. And so I quickly ran to the men's bathroom, even pulling down my pants before I reached the door in preparation to relieve myself. When to my horror, I saw there was a line of 5 massive men in front of me, all waiting to use the cubicles. I considered pooping in the urinal or even the sink, but I knew I'd get beaten up afterwards. My mommy always told me not to use disabled toilets just in case real disabled people needed to use it. But this time, it was an emergency, and so I snuck behind the line of men and reached for the door handle of the disabled toilet. But just as one of the men called out to me to tell me someone was in there, It was already too late, and I had pushed through the door to find my local priest with his pants down, dripping in sweat, and violently cracking 3 pink fluffy furries in the disabled bathroom. I was stun-locked and didn't know what to do. But then I saw my priest's veiny feet and couldn't resist myself. I started sucking on his toes like a dog with rabies whilst the 5 men in the bathroom line struggled to hold me back. I did a commando roll to escape their grasp and slid into one of the empty fursuits like I was a snake with super speed. And once I put on my furry paws, I proceeded to violently crack my priest like there was no tomorrow. Anyways, I ended up getting banned from that gym and received a 3-week ban from my local church.
Damn, a 3-week ban from your actually, what am I even saying? I wrote this script. All right, okay, but a 3-week ban from your church. Okay, I feel like me personally, if I was that priest that got brutally diddled, I would issue a much longer ban than 3 weeks, unless maybe the priest enjoyed it. But anyways, now it's time to move on to story number 2, and so now let's spin this wheel again. BBL, stranger, and hospital. I feel like this is perfectly set up for something insanely wrong. Okay, so basically, I'm sort of thinking, I performed surgery on the wrong person and accidentally gave them a massive BBL that even I became jealous of. So basically, this story is just gonna be about some random plastic surgeon who accidentally performs butt surgery on some random guy who ends up being a cancer patient. But instead of reading this out right now, we're gonna be able to like listen to it later on, and so let's just get started with making the sus Reddit story. But for this one, instead of just using a random default voice, I kind of want to test out the voice cloning ability here. Because what if I just clone my own voice and get myself to read this out? I wonder how accurate it will sound. How do I do this? So record, and then I guess we just read out some random thing.
Hawk to Hawk to Hawk to
Okay, now let's press analyze audio, and I assume this is just gonna create it. Okay, and now I can just use this, right? Let's have a listen to what it sounds like. Did you know that chameleons can change their skin color not only for camouflage, but also to communicate their mood? Damn, that's not too shabby. That's pretty decent. So now let's go back to Story Studio. Let's make a new project with this one. And now let's select my voice over here. And now we just copy and paste, and it should work, right? Let's add some random audio effects. We can add laughing. We can add crying. Okay, let's add laughing somewhere. Why don't we just add laughing before every single one of the sentences? Okay, let's just see what it sounds like. Just a random example over here. I injected 300 liters of baby oil into his butt cheeks until they inflated like a balloon, and bro, that is insane. But anyways, let's just generate the entire thing. I had no time since there were many other patients that needed to use the operating theater for various surgeries. Bro, what is wrong with this laugh over here? Why do I sound so zesty? Do I sound like this in real life? Why don't we just get rid of all the laughing? You know what? I don't like the laughing anymore. Let's just remove it. Okay, so now let's just download this and we can start editing it. Okay, the short is done. This was pretty easy. This is like pretty straightforward stuff. Let's have a look at how it turned out. I performed surgery on the wrong person and accidentally gave them a massive BBL that even I became jealous of. I, 42 male, work as a plastic surgeon specializing in reconstructive surgery. During a night shift last week, there was a huge crash on a highway nearby involving a large truck and multiple cars. We were pushed to capacity as our hospital tried to accommodate all the seriously injured people. I was due to go home at 3 a.m. but was required to stay at hospital until 12 p.m. the following day in order to perform emergency surgeries on those who required reconstruction. Apparently, one of the injured people had their ass completely crushed by the impact of the crash, and I was to perform reconstructive surgery on their buttocks in order to restore function to that area. However, when I received the patient in the operating theater, his injuries didn't quite match the description I had received earlier. I had no time since there were many other patients that needed to use the operating theater for various surgeries, and so I got straight to work. This patient looked like he was in his early 20s and was extremely muscular, and so I decided to give him the fattest ass I could possibly cook up. I injected 300 liters of baby oil into his butt cheeks until they inflated like a balloon. And after I was done with the surgery, I took a step outside the operating theater for a breath of fresh air. However, when I looked up at the sign above my operating room, my heart sank. I had accidentally been operating in the wrong room, and that man was not my patient. I double-checked the records, praying that somehow he was still the correct patient who had somehow been wheeled to me anyways, but I found out the person I had just given a massive BBL to was actually a cancer patient who needed to get a tumor removed from his brain. I managed to get away with this accident by blaming it on the administrators, who were later fired and charged with various different offenses, and I haven't told anyone this story since. Damn. So we're just gonna blame it on the admin people, and nobody will ever find out ever again. Okay, now it's time to spin the wheel again so we can get a fresh set of keywords. Extreme prank, roommate, and school. Okay, these seem kind of tame, but I think we can do some interesting things with extreme prank. Okay, so I'm sort of thinking, what if we have some sort of like revenge prank? So let's say that like someone's classmate or so like their roommate at school pranked them, and then the revenge prank was like 100 million times worse. So why don't we do something calm, like my roommate's dog ate my homework, and so I skinned his dog alive, deep fried it in 10 liters of baby oil, and served it to my roommate at school lunch. And now let's just copy and paste this into Fish Audio like usual. For the voice, I kind of want to see what options we have here. I don't want to do any copyrighted ones, but let's see if there's a pretty good original one over here. Wait, what is this? JJK narrator, Lobotomy Kaizen. What is this going to sound like? There's no like preview available. I'm actually curious. I can't, let's use this. Let's just use this. The JJK narrator. I don't even know what that would sound like. But anyways, let's just copy and paste this into here. I really want to see what this sounds like.
My roommate's dog ate my homework, and so I skinned his dog alive, deep fried it in 10 liters of Diddy oil, and served it to my roommate at school lunch.
Okay, that's decent. That's actually not too shabby. And now we can just download this and construct a Reddit story out of it. Okay, just give me like 2 seconds.
Hawk to him. Hawk to him. Hawk to him.
Okay, so here's how the final Reddit story turned out.
My roommate's dog ate my homework, and so I skinned his dog alive, deep fried it in 10 liters of Diddy oil, and served it to my roommate at school lunch. Earlier this year, I moved into boarding school for the first time. I was a transfer student, and so I didn't have many friends. Luckily, my roommate was super chill and very friendly. We very quickly became best friends and would often make out even though we were both straight. Anyways, over the past few weeks, my roommate started pulling pranks on me. I don't know what got into him, but for some reason he would hide my laptop, leave buckets of water on top of doors, and he even went as far as releasing a stage 4 explosive diarrhea directly into my bed. At first I thought it was kind of funny, but soon I became annoyed. It reached a breaking point when he bought a puppy dog online from some shady seller and would let him run around our dorm without any supervision. I would often drink coffee in the morning and find a large round droplet of dog poo at the bottom of my cup because that stupid dog wasn't toilet trained at all. Honestly, the poop added a niche aftertaste to the coffee, but that's besides the point. One day we had an important assignment worth 80% of our grade due for submission, and the exact morning when I went to submit my papers, I found my roommate's dog shredding through it as if he was Donnie T trying to shred up the Epstein files. I was furious, and so I grabbed my pocket knife, ripped open that stupid dog skin, and crafted a leather handbag out of it. Then I boiled some Diddy oil and threw that feral animal in the pot, before sneaking his deep-fried drumsticks into my pocket before lunchtime. At the school canteen, I told my roommate I had made some KFC for him, and so instead of eating the disgusting school lunch, he proceeded to unknowingly eat his pet. It's been 5 years, and he still thinks the dog ran away.
Damn. What an insane revenge prank. But anyways, if you want to make videos like these, check out Fish Audio, and you can sign up for free using my link in the description.